Welcome to the Brent and Malcolm Show. I'm Brent Hazard, and not always, but we have a special guest here, known as the man I can't stand the most. Socrates Garrett is back filling in. Socrates, how are you doing?
Well, I'm not back filling in, Brent. You know, I'm your co-host for this evening.
That's filling in.
I'm a star of the show.
Well, I mean, we were going to have Tucker Carlson, but something fell through. Something
really bad fell through, didn't it?
Well, if someone cost you $787 million, would you hold a grudge?
Yeah. Yeah, and so what happened to Don Lemon?
Supposedly, everybody at CNN hated it.
Oh, he didn't get caught up in there, Tucker Carlson.
Oh, no. That was that Fox News lawsuit. No, supposedly they moved in. He wasn't pulling the right. Okay, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
And I saw this with judges, okay? I had the first opportunity to go in front of Judge Wooten. And you hear nightmare stories about Judge Wooten from lawyers, okay? And I've known Judge Wooten since law school. And I knew her as a public defender. I knew all this. She had 3 things on docket. We had a little motion. She was very well prepared. She knew the subject matter. She was asking questions, pointed questions. She hit me a little bit. She hit opposing counsel a little bit. And she resolved everything and ran the courtroom. Now, the last time I saw that, in October, I went in front of a woman named Edith Jones. Edith Jones, she's no longer chief judge, but she was chief judge of the Fifth Circuit for 25 years. She's a legend. And for the Fifth Circuit, that's Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi. She comes from Houston, I do believe. But she's when you're talking about Texas, you're talking about the Federal District of Dallas and Houston, which I would say is just as impressive as New York or LA because they don't have 2 metro areas. But Judge Jones hit you with questions, ran her courtroom, and was opinionated, but in a professional way. My point is, if Judge Wooten was a Republican, these white defense attorneys wouldn't be talking about her. They were saying, "Oh, she's passionate, and she's well prepared." Now, Edith Jones, when I was down there arguing, the hearing before me, or the oral argument before me, literally said to a person, "No tiki, no laundry." Have you ever heard that saying?
No, never heard that.
It's a reference of what the Asian laundries, it's a stereotype of, no ticket, no laundry.
Okay.
But no tiki is supposed to be somewhat of an Asian, bad Asian accent. She said this in front of a room full of people with an Asian judge sitting right beside her. And everybody, when Judge Jones said it, everybody went, My point is, back to Don Lemon, why aren't liberal firebrand, when a conservative like Bill O'Reilly or an Edith Jones or someone like that and gives it to you, they're passionate, they're zealous, they're fighting for the right. We're fighting for God's will. But when a liberal or a Democrat does it, crazy, insane. Why is that?
Because we have to win at all costs, and the only way that we're going to be able to win is to demonize the opposition. And that's why good people don't offer themselves up for political office today, and because they're going to be demonized by the other opposing team or party or whatever you want to call it. It's just completely and totally out of hand.
Well, I guess what I'm missing though, I think some of this would be fair to say, like with a Don Lemon, Bill O'Reilly had some. I couldn't watch Bill O'Reilly. Did you ever watch O'Reilly?
I watched a little of that show.
He would make some every now and then he would make some decent points. He had an agenda. He had talking points. But one of the wisest things I've ever heard him say, he said, the hardest thing for you to do is to move outside of where your parents lived and do a job differently than your dad did. And as I got older, I realized how true that is, because home, if you have generations in one area. They might not know you, but they know your brother. They might not know you, but they know your mom and dad. They might not know you, but they know your aunt. You go somewhere else, all that disappears in a heartbeat, and I don't think we realize. I don't know anything about towboats, but I saw my dad working on them. And I think that's what we're missing here is recognizing that knowledge. But back to O'Reilly, I agreed with some of his things. My problem wasn't what he said. It was the application. It was you and I need to pull ourselves over bootstraps. The Trumps, the Bushes, well, they need to be bailed out. Why don't we in Mississippi understand where is the fire for the Democrats? I hear a lot that, and we're going to get into 1080, or is it 1080? Yeah, 1020, excuse me. I hear a lot of takeover. I don't see any fire. Where is the fire? And I mean, nationally, I see a little fire on the Democratic side. But where is the fire locally here if you truly think Jackson's being invaded, why aren't we setting records for voting enrollees?
Well, Jackson is clearly being invaded. Brent, do you know that there are no people on the streets anymore in Jackson? You just got to pay close attention.
Oh, and there's no bombs in the Capital District. Let me tell you that.
Drive down Bailey Avenue, you don't see people anymore, Brent.
No, wait.
Everybody is staying in their house because Capitol Police is absolutely running roughshod in Jackson.
Okay.
And so, it's being invaded. And pretty soon, we're not going to have anybody in Jackson but well-to-do white folk.
Okay. This is the issue, and here's the problem for people who don't know. We had a passionate conversation at Walk-On's, a sports bar in Ridgeland.
Yeah.
And I was the only white person at the table, and all of them were mostly my friends. There's a couple of them I can't stand, but they were my associates.
Yeah.
Did you pay attention to anybody around us when we were having this conversation about racial relations in 1020?
I understood there was a couple in the booth next to us that left after a while.
There were some people who get nervous, like we're going to break out in a fight. But I mean, that's just the way I was brought up. But do you believe, okay, here's my problem with the quote unquote invasion. There's not a district in Jackson that's majority white anymore. Am I wrong?
You don't have to have numbers to have superiority and strength.
That's not what I asked. Wait a sidestep.
I want you to go back and remember.
Wait a sidestep.
I'm coming back now.
Okay.
Way to remember that. Okay. How many Indians were here when Europeans and Spaniards invaded America?
You mean Native Americans?
Native Americans.
Okay. I don't think any Indians were here.
Well, I don't know. A Native American is not an Indian?
Okay, India and Indians. Columbus thought he was over there by Pakistan, which didn't exist at the time, but that's over there.
I always call the Indians that were here Indians.
Well, I mean, you can use ignorant words all you want.
You see them as
what they are, Native Americans.
Native Americans. It wasn't even America. How can they be Native Americans?
How was it not America?
Because who named that? Who gave the country
America
that name?
Vespucci.
It was something before he got here with that name.
Well, that's what we call it now.
So Indians were here before them, so they can't be Native Americans.
Technically, Indians are over in Delhi, in New Delhi. That's in the Indian Ocean. This is Native American. It's fine. I understand. Just worry about the black-white. In your world, it's all black-white. It's a lot more gray than that, Socrates. In 2023, it's a lot more gray than that.
I just think you are disparaging the Indian population when you say they are Native American.
Calling them by proper names and not calling them by another Asian.
But give them the name of the land that they occupied before English people came. What was the name of the land then?
I don't know, because we're speaking English. If I spoke another language, I would call them what we call it. But I don't speak Mandarin. I don't speak Cherokee. And that don't sound Choctaw coming out your mouth there, Mr. Garrett.
Well, Socrates. But you acknowledge that the land, they were here and occupied the land.
Yeah, we did. I mean, the land was here.
Even though we don't have a name.
literally Choctaw or Cherokee, I think is what they're recognized by. But I wasn't around naming. What do you call
Well,
them?
you don't call them no Choctaw American, do you?
I just call them Choctaw.
They just Choctaws.
Yes. They ain't Indians. I call them Cherokee or Choctaw. They ain't Indian. I don't call them Australians. That's wrong too. They're not Japanese or Chinese, by the way. Not Brazilians, not Colombians.
Why are they just Choctaws? Because
That's what they call themselves.
But you got the Cherokee.
I said Cherokee. That's a
you
different
got the
tribe.
You got all these tribes.
Yeah, that's what I'm calling them.
But they're all one race.
Are they?
Yes, they all look alike, Brent. They all.
Wow. I don't know if you can say that in 2023. I don't know if you can say that in 2023.
You can tell they're related.
All white people look alike to you?
Pretty much they got the same characteristics.
I'm just asking. All white people look alike to you?
I get them confused.
So when you walk around looking for me, you're like, hey, I'm sorry, looking for the other cracker. That's the other cracker.
I'm looking for Brent. You look like Brent.
I know what I look like.
I didn't say the other cracker.
I mean, that's what you're thinking.
Well, no, you don't know what I'm thinking.
But anyway.
I thought you were a lawyer. Now did you make the psychiatry or something like that?
Circumstantial evidence, body language. I can teach it about you later. But back to what I asked you.
So I do want this question answered.
Okay.
What
You're
were
sidestepping.
the Indians before we called them Native Americans? I do think we need to research that and find that out.
Indigenous people is what our producer, who's afraid to come on the air, says. But I mean, you can't call them indigenous people because that's every population on the planet. That's the Aborigines, that's the Europeans, that's the Japanese, that's the Norwegians. Everybody's indigenous to somewhere.
But I grew up thinking they were Indians because all of them were cowboys and Indians. I mean, that was
You grew up.
Kemosabe, Tonto.
Okay, but you would agree with me when you grew up, black people couldn't vote, right?
Well, that's true.
But they can vote now, right?
Some.
So we can evolve. Yeah, the ones who don't register can't.
The ones that you don't have locked up and incarcerated can't.
Oh, I have them.
I mean,
I have them.
Those that are running
the
correction facility.
I have
those that are in charge of the government. Are you part of the government, Brent?
I know what it is. You get me and Tate Reeves confused because we're white.
No, as a lawyer, aren't you a member of the court?
Yeah, I'm an officer of the court, yes.
Okay, so then you're part of the establishment that locks up people.
So you're not part of, you're an outlaw, is what you're saying. You're an outlaw? You're an outlaw?
No, I'm not.
I mean, let me go ahead and say this. Let me go ahead and say this. What is the highest elected official that you've talked to in the last 2 weeks? I've talked to, I don't know who I've talked to because I'm just a poor little car wreck attorney. Who have you talked to in the last 2 minutes, Mr. Outlaw?
Well, we have relationships.
Relationship. We have a network. You know what? We're going to do a little TikTok. If I could ever get anybody to give me some clips, we're going to do the Socrates Garrett two-step slide. You're going to ask a question, he's going to slide. And he's going to slide this way.
Down the road.
10, 20. Okay, I'll make you King of Jackson.
Yeah, okay, great.
You would have kept it the way it was. Yes or no? Yes or no? Would you kept it the way it was?
Yes.
So you're okay with high crime and high murder rates?
No. Now you asked me to answer something with yes or no.
Okay.
And so now that's where we get these dead end positions that we get.
That's not really dead end. It's kind of.
Okay, well, I said no. I'm not for the high crime.
Okay. So how would you have fixed it?
Now here we go.
I would have got a job development in 72 years.
Oh no, I certainly would have addressed the economy. I certainly would understand the fact that poverty is the root cause of crime. I certainly understand that portion of it, that a hungry man is going to take what you have, he's going to steal, and he's going to kill for survival. The number one thing that God put in us was the desire to survive at all costs.
Do you recognize or not that under Tony Yarber, crime went down?
Okay.
It ain't okay. Do you recognize that as a fact or not, or am I making that up?
What, is that to say that crime was high under Harvey Johnson? I don't know.
What I'm saying is, okay, let's be fair to all parties involved. We had a pandemic, and crime rose from all sides of the country because of the pandemic. Some of it because people are staying home and not going to school, and statistically, like with the summer coming up, crime will go up every summer because the kids aren't in school. It's just no matter where you are.
Well, I think that we first saw a spike in crime after Katrina.
Okay.
We had a lot of people that were displaced.
New Orleans and the coast.
New Orleans and the coast had a lot of people that had to move into this area, and those people are not bad people. But when you move, when you displace, and you don't have what you talked about, the generation, the genealogy that goes along.
Well, you just lost everything. Usually, yeah. I mean,
and so now here you are in a land where you have nothing. So what are you going to do, Brent?
Oh, you do what you got to do to survive.
You're going to turn to crime.
Yes, okay, but okay, after that, though, my issue is this. I did not hear one plan from any city official on how to address crime. And I've said this 1,000 times. I'm fine with someone being stupid. We're all stupid. If someone breaks in, one, we just don't have the jail capacity to lock up everything for everybody for everything. So, but anything that could hurt, injure, damage someone else. And I'm not talking about slapping. I'm not talking about rolling around. Broken bones, getting shot, getting sexually assaulted. Burglary fits in there because more crimes and more violence happens from burglary, because when you walk in and someone's in your house, bad things happen. So I put that in there. Everything else, though, I didn't care. Suspended sentence, treatment, community service, that's how I handle things. I have not heard anybody say that from the city or from the county that says we've got to stop violent crime and protect our our majority African American town. I have not am I wrong?
Well, you might not have heard it.
Who said it?
I said you might not have heard it.
I'm asking, did
Maybe
you hear?
No one said it.
Did you hear it?
I don't know who said it, and I'm saying that we clearly know that no one wants the crime that's in Jackson.
Okay.
None of Jackson's citizens want high crime rates, Brent. That is just illogical.
Well, okay, but who is fighting besides Capitol Police? And we're going to get to that. Before all that was enacted, give me one elected official that made it their platform to fight high crime.
Frank Melton.
He's dead. If that's the best you've got, you're winning the argument.
This came to my mind that Frank Melton ran on crime platform.
Oh, Frank Melton ran. This is what's weird. Frank Melton ran on locking up one person. It comes after me on WNPR, Batman. Batman's a great guy. But if you would have told me when I first came to...
Batman's your new best friend, isn't he?
I like hanging out with outlaws and thugs, so that's why my attraction to you, outlaw.
Okay,
when you're sitting there dealing with mayors and supervisors.
I felt a little bit concerned for you.
No, I like
when you start hanging out with people that I know have the propensity to be violent if they choose to. And you being a white boy in a black sea, I saw you.
Oh, I'm glad I'm 50 years old and I'm a white boy. Well, but when will I grow up to be a man?
No, I don't know.
What height do I have to be a?
It's not a demeaning term, is it? You used it for 50 years to black people.
When the hell have I called a black person boy? When have you heard me call? When have you called this cracker? I know you got me confused. When have you seen this one right here call an African American boy?
But you know that was the term. Everybody was a boy.
I wasn't alive back then.
But you inherit that, Brent. You inherit that. You don't get a pass just because you weren't.
Literally, I do. Literally, you can't hang me for the sins of someone not even related to me. Literally, I do. It's called freedom. It's a new topic.
It's not religion, Brent. What you want is salvation. That's where you were able to repent and have. So
I'm responsible. Okay, let me ask you this. You said on this show before, you might have some cracker in you.
Well, my great-grandfather was.
You said that.
No question.
So how much blame have you carrying?
I'm not carrying any blame because I was treated the same way that every black man in the world was treated. We had an old saying, Brent. You know,
Well, I mean, you're an old man. You ain't got no young sayings.
I don't care how far you rise in America. You still black. Now, I'm not going to use the word, but you still black. Just get out of your place, boy.
What I'm saying, you've been holding that in. I don't even know what we're talking about. But the whole point of this is you still, look, I'm not a fan of Tate Reeves. Well, here, we've been having fun, but a couple of things you need to know. Before we take a break, I heard you talking to, and people think I'm kidding here, you were talking to your coffee, what is his official title?
He's a roaster.
Roaster. You actually have a roaster.
I do.
And you have and you have bought, where did you buy your machine? Turkey. And you have started one of the few African American owned coffee
that's right.
Coffee businesses.
Coffee roasting operation where we actually import our beans from South America, from China, a lot of them out of Hong Kong, from Jamaica, and we get our beans in and we blend and roast and we perfect a great cup of coffee. And Earth Blend is one of these products that is just taking the market by storm.
Well, please order Earth Blend, and we'll be right back to finally talk about 1020 Bill and what he would do to fight crime. Socrates Garrett, when we come right back.
Looking for the hottest content in the city of Jackson and surrounding areas? Check out WeBelieveDigital.com. Also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. We Believe Digital Podcast is here for all your podcasting needs.
The Mississippi Link is an African-American female-owned newspaper with a trusted voice that is highly respected throughout the city, state, and nation. Our motto, keepers of the knowledge for people who speak the truth, since 1993. Link significantly influences the thoughts, attitudes, and buying decisions of its readers. Call us at 601-368-8481 for your advertising needs. If you would like to receive a newspaper in the mail each week, our annual subscription is only $52 per year. That is only $1 per week for you to stay informed regarding many stories that you can only get in the Mississippi Link. Sign up today at themississippilink.com and click on Home Delivery.
Yes, it's Brent Hazard for the Brent Malcolm Show. Please remember that Malcolm Johnson's running for Supervisor District 5 of Hinds County on August 8th. Please make sure you get out and support one of my best friends, great guy. I didn't always like Malcolm, let me be honest. But when I got to know Malcolm, whether you agree or disagree with him, you can't question his work ethic. He's out there campaigning right now. So please just keep his name in your mind. If you want, whether I agree with Malcolm on every topic or not, I do believe he'll do what's best for Hinds County. So please make sure you vote for him on August 8th for Hinds County Supervisor. Back to where we're going. You're King of Jackson.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Well,
and the governor's still Tate Reeves.
I would round up all of the white people and
kill every cracker I see.
No. And I would have a meeting, and I would say, we gotta do the Rodney King thing, guys. We gotta learn to get along.
Oh, I thought you were going to beat them all to the ground with billy clubs and tasers.
No, not at all. Why would I do that? I'm not a violent
Well, when you said that's the Rodney King thing, that's what came to my mind.
No, but Rodney King said, can't we all just get along?
But that's not the Rodney King thing. The Rodney King thing is getting beat up by billy clubs and tasers.
See, that's how you saw it.
That's how everybody saw it. No one did a riot because a man said, can we all get along?
What is he known for, Brent?
Getting beat up by L.A. police.
No, that's not what he's known for. Getting beat up is not something you want to be known for.
It's not what you want to be. I don't want to be known for that, but that's what you know for.
He had a prophetic movement. He had something that went on inside of him after the beating.
No.
When he came and said to America.
No.
He came to say to America after having been beat down. He came and said, can't we all just get along?
That's a movement. The movement was the riot with burning it down.
I tell you what, Brent, I don't believe I could have got those words out of you if you had been beat down.
Oh, hell no.
Okay.
Hell no.
I didn't think so.
No, I'm more Malcolm X. I need to educate you about Malcolm, this young Malcolm, because old Malcolm was trying to unify everybody. to quote one of my friends, fight. We like to fight.
Yeah.
Look, I'm antisocial, counter-dependent. But anyway, I'm trying to get some, I'll explain some of that. If you're King of Jackson, you keep on avoiding it.
Yeah, no, I love that concept. If I were King of Jackson.
Besides building you a statue,
said that the first thing I would do, I said,
build a statue.
I should have said have a town hall meeting for whites only.
But no, hang on. You set off the air. You'd build a life-size statue that was 4'8".
No, I didn't.
And gave yourself an inch.
I didn't say that.
I didn't want to say you were 4'7". I didn't want to hit you like that.
I tell you what, though, you can keep talking about my height and all of that kind of stuff in the beginning, but I will remind you.
Remind me
that you, some of the greatest generals of all time, men that you really feared in life, were.
Donald Trump was short.
Well, I don't know how tall Donald Trump was.
Tate Reeves is not a tall man.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
What? Stop. Be serious. If you were King of Jackson, what would you do?
Well, Brent, I would do what I just said. I would first have a town hall meeting out
for all the whites.
Get my whites first, because I got a real message for them.
Okay, what's your message for the white people?
This hard conversation.
Okay.
We're gonna stop moving out. We're gonna stay in. We're gonna fix this together.
Okay, wait.
You're gonna bring the economy back. You're gonna bring your banks back. You're gonna bring your insurance.
Okay. Let's take each one of these at a time. Okay. The whites have left Jackson, true or false?
True.
Okay, so when you're talking about moving out, where are they moving out to if they've already left?
They moved to the suburbs.
I know where they moved to. You said we're going to stop moving out. They're not leaving Madison and Rankin.
No.
Okay, so I mean.
I'm saying the ones that are still here, we're going to set, you're not getting out.
Okay.
Okay, we're not getting out.
Okay.
Nobody's leaving.
Okay.
If I were king for a day.
Okay.
Nobody is leaving.
Okay.
Now, and then after that, we're going to come up with plans and concepts.
Oh, wait, who?
Rebuild our city.
Don't loud talk me on my show. Don't loud talk me. Are you still talking? Are you still talking just white people? Or have we invited the African Americans to join us?
Still talking to just white.
Just white people, all 7 of them. But go ahead.
We got quite a few more.
I'm just saying, they're walking
around. We got 130 with Capitol Police.
They don't live in Jackson. But anyway.
They're not leaving either.
I know they ain't leaving.
You go police Jackson, you're going to live in Jackson.
Well, I agree with that 100%.
Okay,
100%.
So we got to stop the bleeding.
Okay.
Jackson had 230,000 citizens at the last census. Not this last one, the one before that.
Okay.
Today we got 120,000 citizens. We lost 100,000 people, Brent. We can't afford that exodus.
Did we lose them in the metro area, or did we lose them like Memphis? Memphis is losing people, which I don't understand, and you have a brother up there, sincerely, right?
One of the best criminal defense attorneys.
I've heard that. Sincerely, I've heard that.
Yeah.
With that said, it seems like Memphis metro area is losing, because at the time Nashville would never beat Memphis in population, but they passed it. Do you think Jackson, we're just moving to the metro area? When I say we, the people of Jackson, moving to the metro area? Or do you think people are just not coming to the Jackson metro area anymore?
I saw a sign the other day, Brent, that said Memphis City. I saw a sign the other day, Brent.
Go ahead.
Mississippi. That's because Memphis is in Mississippi.
Oh, no. The suburbs of Memphis, so the redneck suburbs, you still have Cordova, you still have Germantown.
You do.
But the middle white class is in South Haven, DeSoto, and Olive Branch.
Right, and that's why you had the football team up there that won every state championship for the last 8-9 years. What was the name of that school? Because they got all of the players out of Memphis, out of inner city, and whether they went to school or not.
What are you talking about?
You don't know.
Talking about the Blind Side School?
No.
University Christian?
No, I'm not talking about no University of Christendom. They don't have play football at University of Christendom.
That's where The Blind Side was shot. It was Michael Orr. He played for the Ravens and the Titans. He's okay. They made a movie after him. It's not the Socrates Garrett show.
You don't learn how to run and jump and get violent in Christian schools. They teach you to turn the other cheek. They teach you to have a great demeanor. You can't kill a fly with a sledgehammer. That's the way we teach it in the inner city. That's what Cassim used to say to his football players.
No, this is an Alcorn reference.
Have no mercy, son.
Okay, I mean.
No mercy.
Deion came in for 2 years and beat y'all, and what happened?
Well, that's because all of the great white people came down here with him and helped him develop his coaching staff, and they brought the money in here that he needed, gave him the best training facilities that Jackson State had ever seen, and he recruited players from all over the world, and he brought his own star quarterback with him when he came. So it wasn't Jackson State anymore, it was Jackson America.
This show's on too. We got some comments that you can't answer. Floyd Lewis said this show's on too early. That would be the executive producer's call.
That's up to you. You can come on at any time you want. It's up to you. It's your show.
Man, like I said, you can give away all the money in the world. You still gonna burn for your lies, ain't no doubt. And by the way, for all these thugs I hang out with, did I give Polo his own podcast? I forgot.
Polo.
I was just wondering.
Napoleon Edwards is the man's name.
Okay.
And
I'm sorry. That was not on it. It was Pickett and Polo. It wasn't Napoleon Edwards.
By the way, Pickett is running against David Blunt as well.
Okay, wait. Okay, hang on.
And he is my candidate. Now, get that straight now. Get that straight.
David Blunt.
No, Dwayne Pickett.
Give me a prediction on that.
Well, I'll tell you, Blunt's an incumbent. He's been there 13, 14 years. He's been tremendously well received by the black community, and that district is majority black. And I think that he is going to put one hell of a fight up, but I think we're going to have the upset of the decade. I think Dwayne Pickett wins that race.
Oh, so Chris Williams asked, are we talking about University of South Panola?
That's who I was trying to talk about. You knew it. But
No, I mean, when you said Memphis, that's not really, but University of South Panola, it was three families in South Panola. It was the Pegas family. It was the, I'll forget them now. I used to play against all 17 cousins. Strong family was big there, Eddie and Chris Strong. God, I won't
so where did they get all those athletes from?
Panola County. It's three. Cousin. It's three families. I'm telling you, they play football every Sunday.
If the black population is that's not over in the 2nd Congressional District.
Okay, let me ask you this.
Black folk are on the other side of the interstate.
Do you understand how, when I say there's three families with NFL players, do you know how many players are related in the NFL? It's a shocking high number. Because when you a freak, them freak genes travel well, but when you average, and look, I see all the kids out there, if your kids are out there playing soccer, football, basketball, and you do not play pro sports, let them have a good time. They have no chance in hell. They can work all day long. They're not going to be a freak. But if you come from freaks, odds are you're going to be a freak. And I've met those freaks. They don't train. They just show up. We playing today? Boom! and they, and throw up 405.
Well, what I notice about these freaks, as you call them, that
they're white freaks. There's some white freaks.
I'm getting to them.
Not as many as black freaks, but there's just some.
I don't know. All of these offensive linemen I see in the NFL seem to be these corn-fed white boys.
No, growth hormone. Those are growth hormones. You have to be on. You have to be. I'm being sincere. Do you know what growth hormones are?
No.
Growth hormones is two type of supplements.
Is this what Lyle Azalea was on?
Yes, that's very good. A lot of people didn't know that.
Okay.
It's age. What I'm looking at it for is called age regression therapy. Whereas we get older, we lose our growth hormones and we lose testosterone. The problem is the first sign of you taking the only negative effect of growth hormones. Your skull grows, your feet grow, but those are not negative effect. When they find, and Lao Zato, when they find cancer, it won't be stage 1, 2, 3, it'll be stage 4 because everything grows on growth hormones. But that when you see these monsters walking around at 3, you remember they used to just be fat people that are big. These guys take their shirts off and they got a little belly, but they're 330 pounds, 6'6" of monsters.
They are.
And then this is when you know they're on something. They quit and all of a sudden they're my size. And they're like, well, I'm biking a lot and I'm dieting. And you're like, and you quit putting a needle in your ass. But
anyway, I noticed that the offensive linemen in the NFL are majority white.
I don't know about that. But
I don't know, and they're mean too. They mean.
Look, the baddest boys on the planet are defensive linemen. Those are the ones.
And white boys tend to do well on the defensive side of the well in terms of their aggressive and their stamina, but they do not play wide receiver very well. They do not have the agility that African Americans have. And so,
well, let me ask you this.
That's why you don't see them on the basketball court as much.
Let me ask you this. Why is that, in your opinion?
Well, I think it's your DNA. I think it's the thing that you were talking about. If you want a football player, if you want to see somebody that's going to be a football player, look at the offsprings of football players. And so I think it's in their DNA.
Well, I mean, and this is where people get in trouble going down this road. But what we don't recognize is if you're in a warmer climate, let's say Jamaica, you were running for 12 months out of the year. If you grew up in Norway, maybe 2 months out of the year.
Yeah, Monique Bolt.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to be able to catch him.
What, who?
Bolt, the guy that...
Usain Bolt.
Usain. What did I say?
Manute Bol was the basketball player who was 7'7". He wasn't a fast guy.
Where was he from?
He was from Africa, but I don't know. Congo? Was he from Congo?
Somewhere over there.
Yeah.
The point is, you're not going to be able to catch him.
Well, I mean,
and the thing is, Brent, so now that you open this window,
okay,
you see why your nose is thin and pointed like it is, Brent, and African Americans' nose, my nose, for example, is broad and wider.
Probably be environmental pressures or stresses throughout generations.
Exactly, and the part of the country that you originated from.
Country or globe?
The globe.
I don't think, yes, exactly. No, I mean, once again, there's a reason Eskimos are denser place.
Where you came from, you didn't need a large nose because the cold air would have been rushing up in there and would have suffocated you. So you had a little tiny nose. But where I come from, Brent, over there in that heat, I had to be able to get some oxygen. And so that's how God made it.
We're going to learn how 2 and 2 is 4 next? Are you stating the obvious? What are we going here?
I don't know if it's obvious or not.
It is completely.
We were talking about DNAs and we were talking about people and how they do things.
The issue that kills me is that we need to have these conversations to realize while we might have some small physical characteristic issues, there's no culture you can have. Like I saw a debate the other day with some Koreans talking about Koreans never had any type of offensive oppression like slavery, and they Googled it and they said Korea has the longest constant history of slavery in the globe.
Wow.
We need to understand. I'm not going to help you because of history or because I inherited sins of great Uncle Bill's cousin's sister. I'm going to help you because it's the best investment for me. And also I'm going to help you, or we need to help people in Jackson, because if we don't, we might be there one day. But if we don't have these conversations, as you pointed out at the beginning of this conversation, the only smart thing you said today, if we continue to vilify, and it's easy to vilify. We were talking about Tucker Carlson. Since you won't answer about 1020, maybe we'll get an answer about Tucker Carlson. What was your opinion
about 1020? I think 1020 is a horrible bill, and I'm glad the NAACP filed this lawsuit immediately, and I look forward to them prevailing and the Fed saying that this law has to be set aside.
That will not happen in the Fifth Circuit. Fifth Circuit is the most conservative court in the nation. I don't know if it can meet the burden of discrimination, because the initial bill, when they were putting elected judges in the bill, that would have been an issue that could have been easily turned over. Because right now the Chief Justice, because correct me if I'm wrong, the first bill, the AG was appointing judges, correct?
I think so.
now the Chief Justice can appoint judges for judicial economy or to help like a special judge or things like that. What's interesting now, not in every county, but in Hinds County, everything's computerized. So when they say they have backed up dockets, they'll be able to prove it one way or another. And what's going to be very interesting to my profession is you're going to be able to find out what judges are working and what judges are moving cases. Oh no, take phone calls. They're probably calling you to tell you that you're wrong.
I thought that was all. Excuse me.
That's why we don't think from Greenville. We know. Don't think the gun's loaded. Know the gun's loaded. But
Alex, what was the actor's name that thought the gun was
unloaded.
I
have no idea what you're talking about.
It's the one that was on trial the other day for his life because
you're talking about Alex.
Yeah, that's what I said.
He got real religious. He got frail. What's his name? Damn it, I can see him.
It's with a B or something.
But anyway, Baldwin. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Someone's texting your ass.
No, nobody texts me. I'm not as old as you are.
Alex Baldwin. But anyway, moving on. I don't even know what we're talking about.
We were talking about 1020.
We really weren't. You were dancing around 1020, doing the Socrates dance.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me how you got all the white people and all black people in the room. How do you reduce crime? Don't give me a 25-year plan that we need more jobs because you can't do that in a year. How do I stop the killing and shooting in Hinds County and Jackson? In a year. I'm going to give you one calendar year. What's your plan?
We're going to take all of the guns off the street.
Okay, you're going to violate people's Second Amendment rights.
We're going to violate people's Second Amendment rights.
Okay, how are you going to do that?
We're going to violate something because the people that are killing people are violating my right to live. I don't know what amendment that is. My right to be here, just to breathe.
I would argue that would be all of them. But that would probably be the 5th and 14th Amendment due process. Okay. They can't take life, liberty, or due process without, some sort of hearing, and no one's giving you a hearing, so that's the way you would argue it constitutionally. That would be like me trying to articulate how to build a house. So, I mean, that's my expertise.
I get you.
So, but no, sincerely, okay, how are you taking the guns? Are you doing traffic stops? Are you just going to get them? How are you getting the guns?
First thing we're going to do is we're going to stop them from coming in. So I got two problems.
Okay.
One is I got to stop the guns and drugs from coming into my city.
Okay. Well, what's the issue with drugs?
What do you mean? What's the issue of drugs? That's partly why people are committing so many crimes, because they're not in their same mind, because we injected them with all of this crack cocaine and all this methamphetamine and all these drugs and stuff out here, and then people start acting crazy.
Me personally, and this is coming from sons of people with addiction issues, I would legalize most drugs. And so now I would, instead of going to jail, you would go to treatment centers. And because to me, if we can't keep drugs out of Parchment, which we can't, and I can go to Hinds County Detention right now and I get any drug I want. Why are we locking up people for using drugs that they can get in jail? So
you're saying that the jail is a dispensary for drugs?
I'm saying every jail in every county, I can go get whatever drug I want.
In jail?
In jail, in Parchment, in state penitentiaries, everyone. Anyone I want. What they don't understand, what people do not understand, the average, and I have not verified this in a while, the average prison guard is making $24,000 a year. Are you going to risk your life for $24,000 a year?
I mean, he asked for that job.
So what I asked, you get paid.
Nobody drafted.
But what I'm saying is, if you get
he ought not be selling drugs. He ought not be bringing drugs.
But let me ask you this: if it keeps the prisoners who are doing double life, who have nothing to lose, to stay calm and stay the hell away from me, or fight each other and keep me out their way, do you think I'm not going to sell drugs? I mean, whether I'm going to sell drugs or not, every prison system I can go right now and run a contraband check, and it doesn't matter who's in charge, white, black, green, yellow, I can pull any drug out of there I want. Did you not know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Okay, you can't.
I don't have a lot of experience with that environment.
Let me ask you this. Have you ever gotten a call from prison through an illegal cell number or cell phone?
I've gotten calls from prison.
Oh, from an illegal cell
I don't know
phone.
if it was illegal.
Did it say?
It didn't say that on the call ID.
Or does it say this call is originating from Parchment or this call is originating from Rankin Detention Center? Did it say that? Because if it doesn't have that recording, it's a hot phone.
Okay.
I used to have to block people because they call me for legal advice, and I'd be like, "Where are you calling from, Socrates?" "Oh, I'm in detention." Whoa, 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 whoa! Block, because they'll run the cell number and they'll be like, "Well, you called Brent 10 times. Why didn't Brent, as officer of court, report you?"
Oh, did Polo call you?
I blocked his number immediately. Did he call you?
I haven't blocked his number.
Oh, okay. So you still talk to him. You wouldn't mind
If he
talking?
calls me,
Okay,
I'm gonna
that's
talk
nice
to
to him.
him.
Okay.
I think.
Are you helping him with the defense?
No, I wouldn't know how.
Pay his attorney.
Help him with the defense is to introduce him to you.
Pay his
But
attorney.
you already know him, though.
I know. I thought I met him over here. Pay his attorney. Are you helping fund his defense fund?
No, but I
We're out of time. Hang on. We got to take a break. We'll be right back after this. I don't even know what we're doing here tonight, but we'll be.
SocratesGarrettENT.com is a diversified firm specializing in recycled aggregates and crushed concrete. SocratesGarrettENT.com's recycled materials provide the construction industry with significant economic and environmental benefits by recycling clean concrete rubble into M.Dot grade rock materials. Recycled aggregates and crushed concrete can be applied to driveways, road construction, bank protection, parking lots, general bulk fills, and more. By using SocratesGarrettENT.com's crushed concrete products, anyone from homeowners to general contractors can help reduce landfilled concrete waste, conserve natural resources, and gain significant economic savings on materials and disposal costs. For more information, please call 601-896-0084 or visit us online at SocratesGarrettENT.com.
Welcome back. I'm Brent Hazard for the Brent and Malcolm Show. Joined as Socrates Garrett. Now, Socrates, in all seriousness, let's at least address one serious topic, okay? Is it possible, and I'm not blaming you, is it, and we had a very detailed and a passionate conversation Sunday, which we could not accomplish here. Sorry for the audience. But is it possible that everything you view is colored, I almost choked on the word, by the prejudice of the past that you experienced, and you cannot be objective on any issue, nor would I if I lived through what you lived through? Is that a possibility?
Well, first of all, the answer is no.
Okay.
And secondly, that
The answer is no, you didn't experience the prejudice unfairly?
No, I experienced that.
Okay, but
it does not determine how I think or how I feel about things, what I can do and how I feel about people. So that doesn't happen that way for me. And the fact that you mentioned that you would too if you had lived through what I lived through, well, I don't know what you would have done, but I am not angry at you or any other white person in the world because of the color of their skin. I'm not angry at that. I think white women are beautiful. I like looking at them.
no, okay, I'm not saying that.
So the deal is this. So I'm not worried about your color.
Okay.
I'm worried about your actions, Brent. Those actions that you put in place that deny me my full first-class citizenship. That one, your policies that lock me up. Two, your policy that take all of my assets from me and take my economy away from me and deny me the pursuit of happiness and the quality of life that you so dearly enjoy. And I look at it every day. When I go down to Mustang Island down in that area, and I look at the yachts and I look at the boats.
Wait, where are you now? Where are you now?
I'm down in the southern part of Texas.
No, I've never been to the
Yeah.
southern part of Texas.
Yeah.
They wouldn't let the white rednecks over there.
Corpus Christi. You go
I've
down
never
to
been there.
Corpus Christi, and you'll see some of the beautiful yachts and boats that you ever wanted to see, in a little private island that you got to get a ferry to get over to Mustang Island, because you just can't walk up there, Brent. You know, so, you know, when I see how you live and how you enjoy the benefits of being in America, and then when I come home and I look at the poverty and I look at the deteriorating conditions of my community and my streets and my schools and the poor people that are killing each other over $5, I have issue with that. Those conditions is what I have a problem with.
Okay, anyway, and I'll say this: you must be a better man than I am, because I hold grudges on people. Some woman almost ran me off the road and almost chased her down. I had to work on my therapy and I chased her down, because if you put me in the hospital, you know I got problems. But with that said,
Well, we think you must have been dropped as a baby.
no one thinks I must have been dropped as a baby.
Yeah,
Just
something happened to you, because your behavior, you need some behavior modeling. You need somebody to work with you, because anger management is something that you need help with.
Oh, I don't have anger issues. I have anger solutions. But with that said, let me ask you this. Murder goes up to 155 murders in Brandon, Mississippi, in Rankin County.
Wow.
Do you not think the governor is sending extra police officers to Brandon?
I think that if the governor tried to send any police officer into Brandon or Flowood where there are white mayors, he would get run out of there immediately. They would have had their police department meet Capitol Police at the city limit line, and it would have been a war, because they would not let you invade their city.
Because Rankin County hates police. Is that your position
No,
right now?
I'm saying they want control of their environment, and they're not going to let you just take that. See, one thing I admire about white people, Brent, they're mean. And they take things.
Okay.
You know, that's how they got America. You know, they are violent. They will just take what they want. They just discover it. They discovered America with people already here, Brent. That's like me walking up to your car with you sitting in it, and I just discover it. Okay? And I drive off in it. And so,
Look what I found! I found the keys! Look what I found!
And as evidence with the violence, now I know we got some violence going on in Africa, in Sudan right now, and
Rwanda.
My prayers are going out to those people over there, because I don't know what the hell they're fighting about. Because
They're fighting over the same thing everyone fights over: man's inhumanity to man.
No, most time people fighting over these resources, these assets. They fought the invasion of Iraq was about the oil.
Yes.
It wasn't about
Invasion of Afghanistan was about morphine.
Yeah,
The popping. No, there's always about something. Yeah, I've talked to Marines that say we don't invade poor countries.
No, we don't
know. We don't know what a poor country looks like.
No. So, you know, I admire that part that says that, you know, we got to fight for whatever the hell it is that we want, and we're going to take it at all costs.
So where is that? Okay, if that's what you admire, where is that in 2023 in the African American population?
We don't have that. Somehow African Americans, except our youth a little bit different right now. I'm not worried about them. But African Americans have been given this religion, and we now, from every time we were singing "Swing Low, Sweet Chariot, Coming to Carry Me Home," I ain't on steady war no more. Don't pass me by. You know, in the now and then, we took on a different flavor. We want to stand up and fight for ourselves. I had a friend of mine that said that slavery could have been ended in 90 days in America because there were more slaves than there were white people.
Yeah, especially in the South, yes.
Yes, and so if there were more of them, they could have taken it, Brent. But that wasn't our disposition. That's not our makeup. We are loving, kind Christian people, except our youth now. They look different. And the reason they're a little different, Brent, is they're not being raised in two-parent families, and they're not going to church. They're watching TV, and they are doing and acting, and they're listening to crazy music, and they'll hurt you.
You sound like you're in 1950 right now. The rock and roll is going to ride. No, I mean, would you agree with me? And this is okay. This is one of the issues. Since we're just going over the place today, I see more diversity hires in the news divisions, where it's ESPN, ABC, NBC. What I don't see, which offends me to a certain degree, all these diversity hires are in their 20s or in their 30s. Were black people not discriminated who are in the 60s or 50s? Could Howard Ballou not get an? If we're trying to set things straight and recognize it was an unfair playing field for the Howard Ballous, could we not go hire Howard Ballou? Or do we? Because to me, am I being racist when I say there should be a sliding scale if we're going to try to set things right and make diversity hires? I want to start with the 60 and 50-year-olds because, I mean, at some point at 70 and things like that, we just end up dying on average.
Yeah.
But when you go get a 20-year-old, I'm like, dude, you were born into a black president. These people in their 60s and 50s, they can read the news. I mean, Howard Ballou, to me, could do just as good a job as a Tucker Carlson or as a Don Lemon. If given a chance, I do believe if it was a fair playing field, Howard Ballou would be in that. I mean, I'm a big fan of Howard. I don't know him personally. But why aren't we starting there? Why aren't we starting with the African Americans who are least likely to experience discrimination in 2023?
Well, that's a lot to unpack. First of all, Howard Ballou and every news person that I see in Mississippi working for a major network has been indoctrinated. They're not free to speak their mind. They read the script that they're given, whether they agree with it or not.
That's a teleprompter.
That's a script, same thing.
But I mean, what are they supposed to do? Just say, I hate Whitey?
What I'm saying is he can't express how he really feels.
Okay.
He can't do that. So diversity, by putting a person in a position that has already experienced being compromised, is not likely to help the rest of the folk that's coming after them.
Well, you haven't been indoctrinated, right?
No,
so look at the camera and tell everybody how bad you hate Haley Barbour.
No, I don't hate Haley.
Hey, look at the camera and say, Delbert Hoseman.
Hello, Haley.
Tell Delbert.
Hey,
I tell you what, you got these numbers. Call these elected leaders and tell them what evil crackers they are on air. That'll be great for social media. Here at the Brent Malcolm Show, Socrates Garrett, the unindoctrinated.
About diversity in the.
That's what I'm saying. But you said Howard has been brainwashed. You haven't.
I said he's been compromised.
Okay, you are uncompromised. Let's let some of this anger out toward these crackers. You've got them on the numbers. Call them up and say, Tate Reeves, do not give me a contract, cracker. I hate you. And I'll be like, woo! The uncompromised Socrates Garrett.
Well, I tell you, boy, I can't out-talk you, Brent.
I'm just saying, I think it's unfair for you to say Howard Ballou has been compromised.
I know you like Howard Ballou.
I don't know Howard Ballou.
You had all the glowing remarks. You were advocating for him before the conversation.
Do you think Howard's not professional newscaster?
Do you feel the same way about Polo? Did you feel that same way about him? Is he the guy that ought to be given some opportunity with diversity because of the thing he's saying? How do you feel about Roland Martin? Do you watch Roland Martin? Do you see him? Do you think he's the kind
I know who Roland Martin are. I've not paid attention to it. Let me go back.
And Don Lemon was on the edge. You know, when his boy Dukakis was there with him and they were rolling together, they were pretty good. But he quiets down pretty good.
Don Lemon pissed off the whole staff of CNN. When you're a black gay man and you piss off the old liberals, something's wrong. He was acting like he was getting Tucker Carlson numbers, and they're like, hey, J-Lo, take it down a notch. Either you need to start bringing some viewers in, or you need to start saying, how you doing? Because you can't be a superstar and bring in, moderate numbers. But with that, because you know what? No one's telling the Rolling Stones to be nice, because the Stones pack them in even at 90. But back to what you're saying about Polo. Yes, I believe before he did what he did, allegedly killed somebody, I try to give Polo a second chance. I didn't know half of what I didn't think Polo was thug. One of the issues that we have, and we are so far out of time, one of the issues I have is, like we've mentioned, Batman. Batman wants to be on this show. Batman wants to do a podcast. White and black people have told me to stay away from Batman because they don't know if he's truly changed. I believe if you do time, you need to be given a second chance, or the system doesn't work. If we're going to give life, because it turns into a life sentence, and if it becomes a life sentence, why even try to be better? But it's like, do you know who, and you probably don't know this, and this is not, do you know who Jarrell Poe is?
No.
Jarrell Poe played for Ole Miss, and he played for the Kansas City Chiefs, and he played for the Texans. He is one of the biggest individuals I've ever met in my life. He's 6'2", 6'3", 340, and that's not an exaggeration. He was the #1 defensive tackle coming out of high school, had some test-taking issues, and was like 23, 24 going to Ole Miss. He is huge. We were supposed to do a podcast, and I was trying to bring him over here. Actually, you talked to Jarrell one time on the phone. You don't realize you did it.
Okay.
And we were trying to get him over here to talk sports because he had a nice little 7-8 year run, and he still knows some people. He was arrested in Madison for kidnapping. He was the one that was arrested over there for kidnapping. I don't think Jarrell did it, but I have to balance. Do I want to pursue a podcast with Jarrell with him facing charges? Because one, I don't think he did. I think he got set up. And two, I think it would help him stay out of jail, get some publicity, but then I have to balance that. Just like with Batman. I think Batman's changed. Of course, I get along with outlaws. That's one of the things they don't tell you when you're growing up prosecuting is that you like people who might do bad things. The Jenkins boys did a lot of bad things. They were some of my best friends. It's where we give people second chances, but it just came out today. Someone was in the accident, an escapee or something. I didn't see all the details. Someone pulled over this morning. Did you see this news?
No, I didn't.
They pulled him over, and the dude killed the person pulled over to help him. Wow. And what I'm saying is, when do you, now, you work construction. How many people do you employ?
About 45.
Okay. One, you're not going to get a lot of college graduates wanting to work construction, true or false?
No, they're too soft.
I've heard that. I know I've heard that 1,000 times.
Yeah.
When do you hire a convicted felon?
Well, I employ a lot of convicted felons, Brent, because our trades, our skills out here have been decimated, and it's hard to find a gentleman that can operate a track hoe or a dozer or things of that nature. So if I find one that has the skill set, then I got to take a chance on that. It's not so much that I'm trying to give him a second chance. I have a need for that skill set. And so I got to watch him, but I got to trust it. I got to try it.
Okay, last question before we go, because then I'll give you the last word. On this theory, or on this topic, are there crimes that you will not hire if they've been convicted and did their time, they're not on the run or anything? Or would you hire someone convicted of murder? And I mean, to be fair to you, my family in the towing industry hired convicted murderers.
I think I would. I've not been presented with that decision to make, but I think I would.
Would you hire? Because I mean, let's be honest. Sometimes crimes of passion, theoretically, from a prosecutor or criminal law standpoint, are not going to happen again because your wife's not going to cheat on you twice, especially if she's dead. Do not do domestic violence. But would you hire, using big equipment like you just, would you hire people convicted of drug issues because it's easier to kick?
As Kenny Wayne, when he was in the Senate, said, a pound of marijuana is no marijuana at all in my community. So I would certainly hire individuals that have been convicted of drug abuse.
Now, for me, I've hired convicted felons. Polo was one before the latest. Here's my issue. If you're convicted, I'm okay hiring drug users. If I think you're clean, I'm okay with violent crime if you've done your time. People who steal, I couldn't give your $15,000 check to someone I know that have stolen and explain it to the Mississippi Bar or explain it to you. Why didn't you get my check? Well, he was going to the bank to deposit it. I had more trouble with theft And now you get into the sexual crimes. That's a whole different category.
Whole different world.
What if someone's been convicted of embezzlement? Do you give them a second chance or not?
I just don't let them handle money, but I give them a second chance, yes.
Okay. I'll give you the last word, whatever you want to talk
I've
about.
always enjoyed the show. It's a dialogue and a conversation, Brent, that you were courageous enough to have.
It's not really courageous calling you a jackass.
Well, you come into the black community in a black-owned and operated broadcasting studio, being seen all over the world, and people recognize that you still have some of the lineages of white supremacy. And so...
Wow!
And we call it white privilege, and yet you're willing to come in here and spend time and discuss truthfully about the ills in society, and I really appreciate you for that.
Well, I thought it was going to be a compliment and then just turn into... Before you go, District 72, is it?
Yes, it's District 72.
Does it turn out to be an interesting race?
It's going to be a very, very interesting race. I have met the young lady, Rukia Lumumba, who is running for that seat in District 72. Deborah Gibbs resigned and ran for judge, and she was elected as judge, and now the seat is open, and so her son is running.
Justice Gibbs.
Justin is running.
Judge Green. Go ahead.
Ms. Stingley is running. Tony Stingley's wife.
I've had her on the show, WNPR.
Great lady, and Sonaris Green is running.
Judge Tommy Green's son. I've had him on the previous election. Very nice, very impressive candidate.
And I know them all. And so I've done my due diligence here, but the body of work that Rukia has done is far, far greater than any of the rest of the candidates. I mean, the infrastructure that she's built, having worked in the community all of her life, just sets her apart. And I asked her, I said, do you think you would do better to remain on the outside as an advocate as opposed to becoming a member of the establishment? And she said that somebody needs to be a voice from the inside, and I'll be that voice. And the silence is deafening right now from our elected officials.
We're going to end on that note. I want to thank Socrates. We're running over for the Brent and Malcolm show. We'll be back next Tuesday. Y'all have a great day.